Empty pews, fading faith, a crisis of belief. Across denominations and across the country, churches are facing a crisis: empty pews. Attendance is dwindling, and with it, the once vibrant religious life of communities is fading. This decline is not merely about numbers, it reflects a deeper crisis of faith. Fewer people today hold strong religious convictions. The tenets that once formed the bedrock of society are now questioned, doubted, and often outright rejected. This shift signals a profound change in how people view the world and their place in it. The certainty of faith, once a guiding force, is giving way to uncertainty, doubt, and a sense of spiritual disconnection. This crisis of belief is most evident in the younger generations. They are growing up in a world saturated with information and choices, where traditional religion seems irrelevant or outdated. This generational divide further exacerbates the crisis, creating a chasm between the faithful and those who see little need for faith. The consequences of this decline are far-reaching. Churches, once vibrant centers of community life, are struggling to stay afloat. Their ability to serve the needy, offer solace to the grieving, and provide moral guidance is being compromised. More importantly, the decline in faith represents a loss of something profound, a loss of shared values, a sense of purpose, and a connection to something larger than oneself. This crisis of belief demands our attention. It is a complex issue with no easy answers. We must examine the factors contributing to this decline, understand the perspectives of those who are drifting away, and find ways to make faith relevant and meaningful in a rapidly changing world. The future of our communities, and indeed our very souls, may depend on it. Tradition's grip loosens, a crisis of inheritance. The decline in church attendance is intrinsically linked to the weakening grip of tradition. For generations, faith was passed down like an heirloom, a precious inheritance from parent to child. This intergenerational transmission of belief provided a sense of continuity, identity, and belonging. Children grew up immersed in the rituals, stories, and teachings of their faith, internalizing its values and worldview. However, this chain of inheritance is breaking down. In today's individualistic and fast-paced society, traditions are often seen as archaic and restrictive. Parents, themselves questioning or loosely adhering to their beliefs, are less likely to pass on a strong religious identity to their children. The result is a generation growing up without a strong foundation in faith, unfamiliar with its teachings, and uncertain of its relevance to their lives. This lack of grounding in tradition has profound implications. Without a strong understanding of their faith's history, teachings, and practices, individuals are more susceptible to spiritual apathy or adopting alternative belief systems. The sense of community and shared identity that once bound people together through faith is also weakened. This weakening of tradition is not solely a religious phenomenon, it is a reflection of broader societal shifts. As the pace of life accelerates and technology connects us in new ways, our ties to the past, including religious traditions, are becoming increasingly tenuous. This presents a unique challenge for the Church. To remain relevant, it must find ways to connect with a generation that values individuality and innovation while preserving the timeless wisdom and values at the heart of its teachings. The schoolyard void, where faith once flourished. The decline in religious education is another critical factor contributing to the crisis of faith. Private schools, once bastions of faith-based education, have played a diminishing role in transmitting religious beliefs and practices. While some institutions remain committed to their religious foundations, many have shifted towards a more secular curriculum, focusing on academic achievement and career readiness over spiritual development. This shift is partly driven by societal pressures to conform to a more secular educational model. However, it also reflects the changing demographics of these institutions. As fewer families prioritize religious education, the demand for faith-based schools has declined, leading some institutions to downplay their religious affiliations to attract a broader student body. The consequences of this shift are significant. For many students, private schools were once the primary avenue for encountering and engaging with their faith outside of the home. The decline of religious education in these institutions has created a void, leaving a generation with a limited understanding of their own faith traditions. Furthermore, the absence of a strong religious foundation in education has broader societal implications. Religious literacy, the ability to understand and engage with religious beliefs, texts and practices, is essential for navigating a world of diverse cultures and perspectives. Without it, individuals are less equipped to engage in meaningful dialogue, bridge divides and build a more compassionate and understanding society. Hollow halls of learning, a crisis of education. The crisis of faith extends beyond the schoolyard and into the hallowed halls of church-affiliated colleges and universities. These institutions, once deeply rooted in faith-based principles, are grappling with the challenges of maintaining their religious identity in an increasingly secularized academic world. While many still profess their commitment to faith, there is a growing disconnect between this stated mission and the reality of campus life. Traditionally, church-affiliated colleges provided an environment where faith was not merely an academic subject, but an integral part of the campus culture. Students were immersed in an environment that nurtured their spiritual growth, fostered intellectual inquiry through the lens of faith, and prepared them for lives of service rooted in their beliefs. However, this integration of faith and learning is becoming increasingly rare. The pressure to conform to secular academic standards, attract a diverse student body, and avoid alienating potential donors has led many institutions to downplay their religious affiliations. This manifests in various ways, from revising mission statements to offering fewer theology courses to relaxing behavioral codes that were once rooted in religious principles. This shift towards secularization has created a crisis of identity for many church-affiliated institutions. They are caught between a desire to preserve their religious heritage and the need to adapt to the realities of a changing world. This tension is particularly acute for faculty and students who seek an academic environment where faith is not merely tolerated but celebrated and integrated into all aspects of campus life.